Hello there.
Okay, so this is part two. I noticed the first one was a bit long talking about a sign, but I guess just the way I am. But in this one, looking at the idea, possibility that there are other hikers out there right now and in recent time who've gone there and we don't know of. Aside from the typical list, as I've mentioned several times, you got the Jeff Claws, the Sean, the Scott, J Chuck, J Silverheels, Aquachigga, Mystery Hikes, them lot. Okay, they've already been out. Some have been out multiple times. Okay. Could there be other hikers out there in recent time or so? Maybe. Let's just say there is. You know, I hear other people out there, viewers, saying that there are other people out there right now in recent time who may have explored, investigated, and so on. In my opinion, one thing I'm going to say, if that is the case, then how has that helped solve or bring closure to this mystery disappearance case? What's the point in people covertly, anonymously going out, investigating, maybe finding something, or maybe debunking something, but not coming to light or telling anyone or informing anyone? How does that solve the mystery? Doesn't do any good, does it? You know, whilst some people might criticise me for pointing this out or noticing that strange thing, and people say maybe, oh, you're looking too deep into it, or you're looking a bit too far, reaching out a bit much, well then why aren't maybe those unidentified hikers not clearing things up, setting things straight, getting rid of all the BS and saying it for how it is? But they're not. So what's really going on? Do you understand what I'm saying? There's only one factor, one point of view I could understand, and that is those people who have been out there may have accidentally broke something or were a little too curious and moved things such as the rocks, and that is why they've not recorded themselves or talked openly, because that would incriminate them. Okay, that makes sense. It's going against the laws of that land, that area. You can't disrupt too much, you can't take things away. But then look at Scott Natal. He didn't give a fuck. He just went right into that mine shaft, took what he was interested in and got the hell out, and recorded it and posted it publicly. Nothing happened there. So why are other people reluctant to show what they've done? You see what I mean? You know, it's not about me. It's just saying it how it is from that point of view, from what we can see and what we know of. If that person can do this and do that and publicly show it, then why can't other people? What are the other people hiding? Okay then, if they're not hiding anything, then why are they not saying anything? Is it just because they didn't find anything? But then you've got the mystery in itself. Oh, do people exist out there? Are people going out there we don't know of? Why are they out there? It's creating another mystery, more confusion. Wouldn't it be just simple to just get rid of as much confusion as possible? Either people say, we've debunked this, we've cleared that up, case closed. That's sealed off. Or we found this and we found that. We can't disclose, we can't say too much, but we found something. Well then that might help. Or they could just simply say, we went out there, we found nothing. It was hot, it was brutal, it was a rough hike, we're not going back. One of those scenarios would at least help, wouldn't it? Or if it's none of them, then it basically means no one has been out there since, to counter certain people's points that people have been out there. Maybe no one has been, aside from the list that has been mentioned. That would be the only other way of looking at it. Now you can say with that tent and sword, then clearly some unidentified person has been out there at a certain point, but when? I don't know, because whilst the hikers on the list who have been there, did they go past that tent and sword? I don't know. I don't know. I won't know. But I'm sure if they came across it, they would have recorded it, they would have noted it. So obviously they didn't see it. They might have missed it, or maybe it wasn't even there at the time. So then, yeah, that would be a valid point to say there have been unidentified people there since. that part would make sense. But, you know, we still get into that loop, that cycle of, okay then, but then why have they kept it secret? Why are they not saying anything? And, you know, some people can just like brush it off and say, oh, well, maybe a range of stuff. And yeah, but what factors? What factors are stopping them from doing or saying something, whatever it may be? You know, instead of just like, you know, messing around and floating about, just get straight to it or something. I don't know. But as regards with Robin, could he have been one of the unidentified hikers that have been out there again since? I don't know. From what he said, he's like not interested in it anymore. He wants to be away from social media, etc., etc. So probably not him. I just don't think it could be anyone else, because if it was another big YouTuber or something, they would obviously cover it. You know, they wouldn't just go out there and not make any content, would they? So it can't be a big YouTuber. It must be an amateur person, maybe a YouTuber, maybe. Probably not likely. But some general public person we don't know of who's been there. I mean, if we're talking about the rock at the covered cave, let's say that was done intentional, then maybe it might have been a military guy or something that went there. And you could say, well, what's the point? Well, does that make sense? Well, if we think, or if some of us think that the covered cave might be literally a covered cave and it's some kind of dumping ground for certain, nuclear waste or, you know, some kind of chemicals and stuff that are dumped there deep within and it's been sealed off, you know, it could explain why Sean got sick, but more importantly, or more valid, it would explain maybe that's why the rock was removed. Maybe a military or someone else, personnel, went along, took a sample away of the rock, and then investigated it, analysed it, researched it to make sure maybe no chemicals were being emitted from, you know, that cave. That's one way of looking at it. You never know. But then again, I guess a counterpoint would be, if that was really the case, would they really be taking a rock that size, of that weight, with them? You maybe they might have chipped a bit away or something, or got a small sample, because that's what most people do. Like with forensics, they don't grab someone's whole hair, do they? They take a little piece, a little strand for analysis. So, you know, kind of cancels that out, I guess. But you just got to look at it all ways possible, if you get what I mean. But the idea that there's other people out there, due to the area, like I said in part one, with it being kind of, well, fairly remote where it is. We're talking about like Picture Canyon, covered cave, where the tent and sword's found, and maybe the mine shaft itself. So remote area, it's not a really popular area, let's be real. You know, you look at Hidden Forest Trail, that's more of a touristy, more of a place for people to visit, because there's actual designated paths there and maybe a campsite, and there's that lodge you can go and explore. And Scott Natal, he went there, he recorded, you know, some of the people that were there, visitors, and it was kind of busy. So, you know, it reinforced that point that an area like that, which is more in reach of people, I guess, and more people friendly in terms of the hike route, it's not as dangerous, it's not as rough, maybe there's more shading, not as hot, maybe. That's why you get people there. But then something like the desert, the Picture Canyon, Jeremy Canyon, those areas, more exposed to the sun, much hotter, more uneven ground, terrain, more dangerous, more rocky, more steep. People are less likely to go there and be put off. So then who does that really narrow down? More hardcore hikers, or people who are very determined and interested in the mystery? That's really the two people that would be in that area, really, if we're basing off the idea people have been there since. So yeah, try to cover every angle, every point, every counterpoint, every counterpoint, trying to link it all together. You tell me what you think down below.